Hello, readers. Welcome to 2021. As you can see on our screen, we are going to be working with the Coral Reef booklet today and actually all this week. I know you're probably a little concerned. It's been a while since we've checked in with Wendy and Sydney as they were getting ready to land on Io. But I promise we will be back with them soon, just not until next week. We are this week going to spend the whole week with the Coral Reef booklet, reviewing a few things about the elements of nonfiction and learning a couple other skills related to reading. So, first off, scholars, a quick look at what we will be doing today. We will review elements of a nonfiction text, and we're going to practice putting some words into alphabetical order, which you will be doing on today's assignment in your packet. So, a review, get to know your nonfiction text, Coral Reefs. So, you'll remember these four words that connect to nonfiction texts: glossary, text features, captions, and table of contents. Remember, a glossary is a list of words that defines unusual, hard, and or important words that are found in a text. Usually they're found in the back of a nonfiction text. It's like a miniature dictionary of words and their meanings, right? Their definitions that relate to the topic. So in our coral reef book, our glossary words are all going to relate to coral reefs. Text features are inserts on a page of a nonfiction book that highlight important information. Text features can include definitions of things on the page, charts, pictures, diagrams. Right? Captions are descriptions of photographs and other text features to better explain what is being shown. The table of contents is a list of page numbers where specific information may be found. A table of contents can be found at the beginning of a nonfiction text and gives you a breakdown of the chapters or the topics. So you could go right to a specific piece of information or topic of information that you're wanting to read about in that text. All right, let's dig a little bit deeper. So here's a look at the glossary in your Coral Reef booklet. If you turn to page 16 in your Coral Reef booklet, scholars, you can see and follow along right there the definitions of those 5 words. All 5 of those words are nouns. All 5 of those words have definitions to them, right? They could be words that are important, hard to pronounce, but all 5 of them relate to our topic of coral reef. Let's see if you can find my mystery word today. Listen to my clues. My mystery word is one of the vocabulary words in this glossary. My mystery word is a noun. Hmm. That wasn't a very good clue, was it, scholars? Because they're all nouns. They all have an N behind them. This clue will help. My mystery word is 2 words. So now, scholars, based off of that clue, you know my mystery word is not atolls, lagoon, or polyps, because those 3 are all just single words. So the mystery word is either barrier reefs or fringing reefs. Listen carefully to my next clue. My mystery word is defined as reefs that are very close to shorelines. All right, everyone. What's the mystery word? Did you say fringing reefs? Bing, 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 bing. You are correct. All right. Let's continue. A caption, remember, is a description of a photograph or other text feature, giving you a little bit more information of what you're looking at, right? What is in that text feature? If you take a look at this or these two photographs, right, you will see the top says schools of brightly colored fish are common on reefs. Right, so he knows what that tells us what we are looking at. It describes what's in that photo. Bottom, reefs offer many good hiding places. So again, you can see what's going on in that picture, right? That fish is hiding in that coral. So captions are descriptions of the photos or other text features that are on a page. Let's continue. So we're going to do a little bit of reading today in our Coral Reef booklet, focusing on pages 4 through 7. So if you first open your book, scholars, you will see on page 3, there is a table of contents. We're going to spend some time with that table of contents in a future lesson. Go ahead for now to page 4. Introduction. Coral reefs are made up of many types and shapes of corals. Reefs are very busy places. Millions of sea plants and animals live in and around reefs. Now, scholars, before we move to that next section on page 4, I see a photograph at the top of page 4 with a caption. Let's read that caption together. Ready? Many kinds of coral, fish, and sea creatures live in a reef. All right, let's continue our reading. We're in the middle of page 4. What is coral? The corals that form reefs aren't rocks or plants. Corals are made up of groups of tiny animals called polyps. Most polyps are smaller than a pea. Oh my goodness. So, everyone, what are corals made of? Right, tiny animals called polyps. And we just read most polyps are smaller than a pea. Thousands of polyps can live on a piece of coral. One type of coral is called hard or stony coral. These corals live with plants called algae. The algae is food for the coral. Stony corals have hard skeletons. When the polyps die, the skeleton is left. Over time, old skeletons help build a reef. Now, scholars, before we turn to page 6, I again see two photos on page 5. Each of them has a caption describing what's in the photo. That first photo, here's the caption. Polyps open their tentacles only at night to catch food. Bottom caption. These feathery polyps form branches. And so far, scholars, on page 5, we heard that one type of coral is called hard or stony. So that's our first kind of coral. I'm on to page 6. The second main type of coral is soft coral. These corals can bend with the tides. Some soft corals will sting if touched. So, two main types of coral: hard coral and soft coral. Many corals are named for what they look like. Brain corals look like brains. Elkhorn corals look like horns on an elk. Sea fan corals look like open fans. So, again, scholars, we have two photos. In the first photo, we have on the left side of the photo a sea fan, which is a type of soft coral. And on the right side of that same photo, you can see kind of on the side, right along the right side, a brain coral, which is a type of stony or hard coral. Then the photo on the right, elkhorn coral branches out as elk's horns do. So you can see how it sort of has that same look, right? As antlers on an elk, right? Or a deer. So elkhorn coral. So two captions to help us understand what it is that we're looking at in those two photos. Page 7. A busy home underwater. Thousands of fish of all sizes, shapes, and colors live in reefs. They depend on the reef for food and safety. Shrimp, lobster, crab, and starfish feed around reefs. A hole in the reef makes a good home for an eel. And then, scholars, these two photos are photos that we just looked at a moment ago as we were reviewing. The top photo, schools of brightly colored fish, are common on reefs. The bottom caption, reefs offer many good hiding places. So, scholars, so far in our book, pages 4, 5, 6, and 7, our text features have all been photos related to the topic, and all of those photos have had captions to help us understand what it is that we're seeing in the photos. Let's keep going. So, the other objective that we had on our list today is to do some practice with alphabetical order, which is also going to be in your assignment for today. So let's work on a couple of those just for some practice. So, putting these four words in alphabetical order. Perhaps you want to pause right now and give it a try on your own. All right, I'm now going to discuss how to put these four words in alphabetical order. To put these four words in alphabetical order, we need to look at the first letter of each of the words. So I've darkened those in red, right? The I of island, the F of fish, the S in sea, and the A in LG. To put these four words in alphabetical order, we have to decide which of those letters comes first in the alphabet. I, F, S, or A. Well, scholars, I know you know your alphabet well. A is the first letter of the alphabet. So, in this list of words, LG would be first. Now, thinking about the alphabet, which of those red letters would come next? I, F, or S? A, B, C, D, E, F. Oh, F is next. So, LG would be our first word, fish would be our second word. And now, scholars, that leaves the I and the S. So we have to decide which of those would be our third word. Well, I can visualize the alphabet right now, and I know I comes before S in the alphabet. So island would be our third word, and C would be our fourth word. So, scholars, our work would look like this when it's in alphabetical order: algae, fish, island, C. Because that first letter of the word comes first in the alphabet. A, then B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, and then T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So we have now placed these in alphabetical order. That reminds me, in a glossary, right, that list that defines hard, unusual, or important words from a nonfiction text, those words in the glossary are in alphabetical order. Good thing to note. Let's try putting one more group into alphabetical order. So, scholars, here's another list. We're going to put these 6 words in alphabetical order: colors, algae, coral, sea, water, and seashore. Now, we already quickly know that the word algae would be first because algae starts with an A. A is the first letter of the alphabet. But is colors or coral going to be second since they both start with C? Right? There aren't any other words that start with A. So then we would know algae is first, B words would be second, but our list has no B words. So we're moving to the C words, but we have colors and coral. Well, scholars, because colors and coral both start with C, we actually have to move to the next letter, which is O. CO in colors and CO in coral. So they both have the same second letter as well. So we actually have to go to the third letter to decide. So back here to colors, right? COL is our third letter. Oops, sorry everyone. And in coral, COR is our third letter. So since C and O are the same, we have to compare the third letter R in coral and the third letter L in colors. Which one of those comes first in the alphabet, L or R? Think about that for a moment. Right. L comes first. So colors would come before coral alphabetically. Even though they both start with C and have O as the next letter, because the L comes before the R, right? The L in colors comes before the R in coral. Colors would be before coral. So our order so far, everyone, would be LG would be first, colors would be second, coral would be third. Then, as we continue, scholars, right, there are no D words, no E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, L, S, S, bing, 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 bing. Oh, scholars, we have 2 S words, sea and seashore. So, because they both start with S, we're going to move to the second letter. Here we have SE. Oh, here we have SE. So we're going to have to move to the third letter in this pair as well. Third letter, SEA. Third letter, SEA. Oh my goodness. They're the same so far for the first 3 letters. So we have to move to the fourth letter. S-E-A. Oh, C doesn't have a fourth letter. Let's try seashore. One, two, three. Oh, seashore's fourth letter is S. So seashore, fourth letter S. C, there is no fourth letter. So scholars, the word that has no more letters, right? This one doesn't have a fourth letter. So C would come before seashore because SEA and then no more letters, that comes before SEA and another letter. So C would be before seashore. So let's back this up a moment. Our first word would be LG because it starts with an A. No other words start with A. Our next word would be colors and then coral, even though they both start with C-O, C-O-L comes before C-O-R. So LG first, colors second, coral third. Our fourth word would be C, S-E-A, comes before seashore, S-E-A, and then more letters. And that leaves water as our last word because W, right, is pretty far down in the alphabet. It comes after A, C, and S. So water would be last. Remember, you're going to have some words to cut out and put into alphabetical order today in your assignment. Work carefully on it. All right. So, scholars, today we reviewed elements of a nonfiction text and we practiced putting words into alphabetical order. We also got a little bit of information about coral reefs today, that there are two main types, right? Soft coral reefs or hard or stony coral reefs. And we learned that coral reefs make great hiding places for animals in the ocean. We also learned that corals are made up of tiny animals called polyps. Quite interesting indeed. All right, so your assignment today is coral reef number 1 in your packet. So it's actually the sheet after the crossword puzzle. So the crossword puzzle is just optional enrichment if you would like to work on it for fun. Coral reef number 1 in the packet is the sheet with all the vocabulary words, or many vocabulary words. I believe there are 15 of them, perhaps, to cut out and put into alphabetical order. You could cut them all out, scholars, and then just arrange them like cards into alphabetical order, and then take a picture of your cards and submit that as the assignment. Or I guess if you wanted to, you could take a piece of paper and write them all down in order. But the assignment is to submit photo proof that you put those 15 words into alphabetical order. Thanks for joining me today on this first lesson back to school after winter break, our first lesson of 2021. See you tomorrow for another coral reef lesson.